If you're standing in the electronics aisle wondering whether a 65-inch OLED is worth the hype, you probably want something that'll blend into your everyday life without demanding a masterclass in tech support. You want reliability, a picture that looks good from every seat in the room, and a price that feels justified after a few months of use, not just a laundry list of specs that sound impressive on paper. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a solid weekend setting up the Samsung 65-inch class OLED S90F in my own living room, swapping it with a 55-inch LCD I've had for 3 years. My first question was simple: will the TV feel like a seamless upgrade, or will I spend my evenings tweaking settings to get a decent picture? I also tested the bundled AudioQuest PQ505NA surge protector because a lot of buyers overlook the importance of clean power for a high-end panel. The experience turned out to be a mix of surprise, satisfaction, and a few practical caveats that I think will help anyone on the fence. Let's start with what the TV actually does in a real living room scenario. The S90F's NQ4 AI Gen3 Processor promises AI upscaling, and that claim held up when I fed the TV a 1080p classic film. The picture looked noticeably sharper, especially in textures like brick walls and foliage, without the over-sharpening that sometimes makes a 4K TV look artificial. In bright daytime viewing, the OLED HDR Plus gave a solid punch. Whites were bright enough to compete with sunlight hitting the screen, while the deep blacks stayed true to a true black baseline. For a movie night with friends, the wide color gamut let me enjoy a recent sci-fi release with vibrant blues and reds that didn't bleed into each other. The TV's built-in Smart Hub felt intuitive enough that I didn't have to pull out my phone to locate Netflix or Disney+. The voice remote integration worked on the first try, which is a relief for anyone who's tired of fumbling with multiple remotes. Now for the practical side of daily use. The TV's size is a double-edged sword. At 65 inches, it dominates a medium-sized living room nicely, but it also means you need to be mindful of viewing distance. The sweet spot is roughly 8 to 10 feet away. Sit closer and you'll start to notice the pixel structure at the edges, especially in darker scenes. That's not a flaw of the panel, just a reminder that OLEDs, despite their impressive contrast, still benefit from a proper viewing distance to keep the image comfortable. If you have a small apartment or a cramped entertainment area, a 55-inch might be a better fit. The bundled AudioQuest PQ505NA surge protector is more than a decorative power strip. With 12 AC outlets, it gave me plenty of room to plug the TV, a soundbar, a gaming console, a streaming box, and a couple of lamps without using daisy-chained power strips that can introduce noise. I ran a quick test by switching the TV on and off while a neighbor's dishwasher kicked in. The picture stayed stable, and there was no flicker or sudden dimming. That suggests the surge protector does a decent job of isolating power spikes, something you don't think about until a thunderstorm rolls through. For anyone who's sensitive to power fluctuations, especially in older homes with unreliable wiring, this bundle adds tangible peace of mind. Who should buy this TV? If you're a cinephile who values deep blacks, accurate colors, and a larger canvas for immersive viewing, the S90F checks those boxes. It also shines for gamers who need low latency and decent HDR performance without the halo of blooming you sometimes see on other OLEDs. The TV's Smart Hub and voice control make it a solid centerpiece for a connected home. You can ask it to turn on the lights, change the channel, or pull up a recipe while you cook. The added surge protector is a bonus for tech-savvy buyers who already have a decent sound system and want a power hub that won't become a mess of cables. On the flip side, if you're primarily a casual TV watcher who sticks to news or basic streaming and you're on a tight budget, the S90F might feel like overkill. The price point is still premium, and while the picture quality is undeniable, you won't necessarily notice a dramatic upgrade over a good 4K LCD for everyday sitcoms or YouTube videos. Also, the TV lacks a built-in HDMI 2.1 bandwidth that some next-gen gamers look for. It will still handle 4K per 60 Hz gaming fine, but if you plan to push 4K per 120 Hz with high frame rate titles, you may need to compromise or look at other models. Lastly, the TV's reflective glass can be a nuisance in very bright rooms with large windows. While the HDR Plus engine cranks up brightness, you'll still see some glare if you can't control ambient light. If your space has a lot of direct sunlight, consider adding blackout curtains or a matte screen filter. Another practical consideration is firmware updates. Samsung rolls out updates fairly regularly, and after the first